Hello everybody, welcome back to the shop and welcome to part 2 of my chicken coop build. This video I will be focusing on the siding of this coop. You see I've put the first two pieces on already. I've got tons of this thin 1-inch thick pine board, rough cut. These are all junk boards that I got from the sawmill at the farm, all free wood. So that's great, some varying widths, which will make life easier for getting everything to fit and line up just so. So I started on the front here. This is the door opening, and I just put a 10-inch piece on either side, and I left a little bit of a shoulder, or a little bit of a lip, on both sides, there and there. As you see, it's not exactly the same width of a lip, but that's okay. I was kind of limited to what width wood I had. But this lip will just serve as a lip for the door to close against. I'm sealing all these joints with Morse caulk. I just run a bead all the way around the perimeter wherever the board is touching a 2x4, seal it up. I like to preset all the screws in the board. I'll mark where they are or where I want them to go. I'll set them in with the board just laying down on the surface, and that way I can caulk it, put it up, and with one hand I can just use a drill to send all the screws in. So now I've got the side wall installed, the side with the chicken door, and you see there's another hole there that's going to be a window. I kind of figured this one out as I was going along. I don't have an actual window that I can repurpose to fit in there, so I'll show you what I did. At Home Depot, when I was buying the rest of my lumber, I bought this piece of Lexan. This is actually half of it. I'm going to make two windows, one on the opposing side. And it's a little thin for my liking, but it's Lexan, which is really good, tough stuff, so I'm pretty confident in it. And it was the same price as regular plastic, I don't know, plexiglass or whatever, that was twice the thickness, but this stuff isn't going to yellow, and it's nice and tough, and it's not going to potentially shatter in the cold and all that. So anyway, I just framed out the window hole, allowing for 1 inch of overlap on all the sides, and just cut pieces and attached them in. So they're really, these ends are kind of free wobbling at the moment. I did caulk all of the edges, and of course the ends there. So the window will be installed on the outside like this, and I will goop it up, of course, all the perimeter, and I'll have strips of wood, maybe 2 inches or so wide, along the perimeter that I'll screw down. I'll also goop it on the outside, and just kind of sandwich this piece of Lexan between this wood and that strip, that border. Then that will both hold the window pane in place. It will allow it to be relatively easily replaceable should the window break for whatever reason. I would just unscrew the wood frame. And also the wood pieces, especially these vertical pieces here and here, will add some rigidity to this board here and this board here, so it's not liable to flop like that. Well, there you have it. There's the window. I think that came out pretty good. So clean you can't see that it's there, but there's definitely that pane of Lexan there. That worked out very well. So while I still had these open walls, I put the nesting boxes in. It's a lot easier with this wall knot here. So pretty simple. You see how I did it. Really nothing too complicated. Just put a board across here. The reason this piece and that piece is there is because it didn't quite make it to the wall, and got a top and then some dividers. They're just screwed in a couple places. Doesn't need to be too rigid. It's not going to be under real heavy use. And this top serves two purposes. Firstly, it's just to enclose the nesting boxes, of course, and secondly, the roost bar for when the chickens roost at night will be mounted right up along here somewhere, and they'll be sitting above the nesting boxes. So of course there's going to be some chicken droppings on here, and you don't want it going into the nesting boxes, so that's what this roof is for. If you really wanted, you could put a little lip here, but I'm just going to put some bedding down, and that'll catch everything, and then when you go to clean the coop, you just rake it all off onto the floor, and you rake the floor out, and you're all set. I got the other wall all installed, along with another window. Same as that one, except no chicken door. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Now for the back, before I put the back on, I am going to, while I still have easy access, like I said before, I'm going to have the roost bar, or pole or post or whatever, right about over here. And with the back off, I got easy access to the area right here where I'm going to attach it. I don't have the bar yet. I think I'm just going to find a nice straight round stick, but to make it easily attached, I'm just going to make a V of wood, put one there, then one on the other side, and then I'll start putting the back on. Well, it's really starting to come together. Got the back on, and you see there are the little V's I made that I'm going to rest a roosting bar on. I will put a screw or two through it so it doesn't roll around on the chickens, but for the time being, that's all I'm going to do for that. So what I'm doing is that I made a frame, I guess you can call it a frame, to put the roof on. I took a 2x4, I cut it at an angle, and I put one half there and one half on the other side, and this run here, on the top edge, I bevel cut that so everything is in line. Of course, I used a liberal application of goop because this surface that it's sitting on isn't perfectly flat, because it's half sitting on a 2x4 frame and half sitting on this piece of siding, so it wasn't quite perfect. See, I added some shim material in there, a couple pieces of paint stirring sticks. But anyway, that's that, and now I will start cutting some of this rough sawn lumber with enough to stick out the front and the back and hang off the side, and I'll just be screwing it down again with a liberal application of the caulk to make sure the roof is watertight. Well, here we go with the roof all set. Got an 8-inch overhang on the front and back, 4-inch overhang on either side, and I got all the seams nicely sealed up with the caulk. Up top too, of course. So this is how I'm going to leave the roof. I think this should seal up pretty well, especially with the pitch to it. The water will just run off, it won't sit and get any opportunity to soak through. But if I do have a problem, like I said, I'll do something later. I'll put some sheet steel over it or some shingles or whatever. But I think this will be just fine. So that sums it up for this part of the video, for part 2. Make sure to stay tuned for part 3. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and you can stay up to date on my newest, latest, and greatest videos. The next installment of this project, I'll be making the front access door, the chicken door there, the door in the back to access the eggs, and the associated hardware and latches and everything. And also at some point I want to put some angle braces on the legs there just to stiffen them up a little bit. So make sure to leave a comment down below if you feel so inclined, and hit the like button if you're enjoying this video and this series, and make sure to catch the next video. And as always, thanks for watching, and come back for more.